Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. The madness is official. Fill out your brackets if you haven't seen them on ESPN Tournament Challenge. Make sure you go get one CBS Sports Challenge, Yahoo Challenge. Go somewhere and get a bracket because this is the time of year where people are anxious about making their picks and selections for who will win this year's NCAA tournament. Final Four predictions, nobody ever gets them right, but they try. Get to that. If you can, whenever you can. We'll talk more about that in a moment. I'll give you my Final Four predictions. However, first comes first. NFL news-wise, the NFC West has been shooken up a little bit, shaken up a little bit, runneth over in their cup. Well, essentially, the NFC West has a new addition on the 49ers. Richard Sherman was released by the Seahawks on last Friday, and he signed a 3-year deal with the 49ers. Now, that would lead some to believe that the 49ers are in the driver's seat. They've got a lot of good pieces now. You added Jimmy Garoppolo, who won a couple games last year. You gave him new money. Then you add Richard Sherman, even though he had surgery on both Achilles. He's a baller. He's in the NFC West division, going to play against his former team twice a year. Now, he did say after he signed, they asked him why he signed with the 49ers, a 3-year deal in the same division. He said he did it out of revenge. Now, that leads me to think to myself, what revenge? Did he ever like Russell Wilson or Pete Carroll? You know, what's etched in my memory that will stay stuck in there for quite some time, probably for the duration of my natural human life, is the fact that I saw Richard Sherman's face after Pete Carroll decided to throw the ball on the goal line instead of running it with Marshawn Lynch in that Super Bowl a couple years ago. Now, Malcolm Butler became an instant star that game. However, I remember Richard Sherman in the agony, in the pain on his face, and just weeks after, the things he was saying, you don't make a call like that when we're out there putting ourselves on the line, referring to the Legion of Boom. And that clearly created a rift between that defense in Seattle and the coaching staff, Darrell Bevell, Pete Carroll. And, a lot of people felt as though that they wanted Russell Wilson to become the face of the franchise and a star opposed to Marshawn Lynch. That's why they don't want to give the ball to Marshawn Lynch for him to score and win the game. They wanted Russell Wilson to be the guy to say, I'm going to Disney World. Now, Richard Sherman, great athlete, great player. He's going to be closer to Stanford, his former college, where he played and starred as a Stanford Cardinal. I really like the 49ers to make some real noise this year because they have real pieces. They've got a young Reuben Foster. He's got to stay out of trouble, but be on the lookout for that team. Now, the Cleveland Browns, they had a few sneak moves over the weekend. Cleveland Brown walking around, peeking around. What can we go? Hey, let's get you on the roster. We've been bums. Let's get you too. Now, the guys they grabbed picked up QB Tyrod Taylor, who I think Buffalo treated like chopped liver half the time as a starter. He's a great quarterback, won games for that team. Why was he not good enough to start and play quarterback there? I don't understand because Nathan Peterman, when you guys put him in and he threw the 4 or 5 interceptions, yeah, you guys really made a wise draft choice with that pick, huh? No, I don't think so. Wide receiver Jarvis Landry, he can catch really well. He's athletic. He was traded by the Dolphins to the Browns. They're talking about Ndamukong Suh. He could be released by the Dolphins. Hey, Browns, why don't you go pick him up? He's part of that dog pound culture. I think he could fit right in because of his attitude, the way he plays the game. Now I have to ask you guys, why would you draft Sam Darnold when you picked up Tyrod Taylor, who's proven that he can win games as a starter in the NFL? You've got the 1st and 4th pick. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I have to pick Saquon Barkley first because he's a generational talent. We watch all these Bo Knows specials and Bo Jackson. We talk about what he is. Well, I honestly think that Saquon Barkley is the best running back to come out of college since Bo Jackson. That may seem like a lofty statement, but if he can stay healthy, I think Saquon Barkley is at least a 10-year veteran and can for sure be a first-ballot Hall of Famer because of the size, speed, athleticism, and his football intellect on the field, the way he sees the hole, the way he can hit creases, and the way he can extend the defense by breaking away and making sure the DBs and these linebackers can't catch him once he gets to the second level. I like Saquon Barkley. So if you're Cleveland, skip Sam Darnold. You don't need him. Work with Tyrod. You've never been successful with these quarterbacks you drafted. Go ahead and draft Saquon Barkley. And then with the 4th pick, you keep the defense strong. You strengthen it some more with Minkah Fitzpatrick if he's still there. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a baller from Alabama. All I remember is him returning pick 6s while he was in a Crimson Tide uniform. Pick him up, and you may be onto something, Cleveland. Now, another story that was Pretty disheartening to hear about over the weekend. Odell Beckham Jr., what are you on, bro? Now, allegedly, this guy's shown in a video with a French model holding a brown cigar, or it could have been a blunt. And she seems to be doing cocaine with some type of credit card and things like that. Now, I don't know who the friend was in the room that got the video, because clearly it wasn't Odell or the other young woman, but somebody in that room set the man up and got him on tape, and now there's controversy out there about what Odell's doing. And first question I have, where were the homies? Every video I see with Odell Beckham, they're in the club with him, they're dancing with him, they're turned up with him. Where were they at this particular moment to make sure that nobody had their phones out, that this was an unplugged chill session? And haven't you guys listened to Beyonce's song, Top Off? She says in the song, you want to party with the queen, you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure. Odell, maybe you should think about non-disclosure agreements if you are doing things that you don't want the public to know about. I'm not going to accuse you of doing that, but I'm just saying maybe you should consider printing some of those off. Now, lastly, Odell Beckham Jr., you want a new contract. You talk about how you need more money. You want to be paid more. NFL teams are trying to find a way to not pay players more based on what they do off of the field. So if you're searching for a new contract, why would you put yourself in a position to be exposed and have your money messed with? Doesn't make any sense. Logically, it's not a good business move, especially when you're Odell Beckham Jr. and you're an athletic freak and you're an asset to any football team that you're playing on. And you've already gotten hurt last year in the preseason, then you came back and you got messed up and couldn't play the rest of the year. So, Odell, if you want your cheese, you can't be caught up in videos such as this. We'll look and see what happens with this, but I think it could be bad for Odell. He'll have to do some more splaining. NBA-wise, Rocket streak was broken at 17 games this past Friday by the Toronto Raptors. Now, with the Raptors, people talk about, oh, this team, they're a really great team this year in the NBA. Yeah, they're great every year. All I think about is all the times they lose to Cleveland in the conference finals or in the playoffs at some point. They can never get over the hump. They smell like the same old Raptor squad to me. Now, they clinched the playoff spot last week against the Pistons. Great for them. Valanciunas, Lowry, DeRozan all combined for 67 points against the Rockets. However, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, they get tight in tense moments. And I've got to wait and see if that thing will happen this year, if the same energy is flowing through that locker room. Now, I hope not, but that's what I'm expecting. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the Raptors are the team to beat. No, they're not the team to beat. They got to show me a little more first. Now, Steph Curry is still out with a sprained ankle for Golden State. Kevin Durant said they missed Steph. And the one thing I noticed was that First Take, Stephen A. Smith came out and he was harsh on Kevin Durant and said that he don't want to hear that. Chill, Stephen A. This is a team in Golden State that their success depends and is contingent upon one another's success. Draymond Green, the more and more I watch his career develop, I don't think he could go to a team and be a standout all-star player that could carry that whole team. KD, I think, has started to fall into a comfort zone with knowing he has all these weapons around him, and I don't think he wants to bear the burden of being the lone superstar in Golden State, which is why he left OKC. He didn't want to bear the burden of having to deliver a championship himself. He wanted complementary pieces like LeBron had in Miami. That's why he went to Golden State. So if you understand the methods to this man's madness, then you wouldn't be so upset with him, Stephen A. Smith. But to each his own. Wednesday versus the Lakers, Steph Curry, he'll be back. I bet we see then how the Golden State Warriors look, even though they lost to the T-Wolves on Sunday. I bet they look good then. Steph Curry is a difference maker, moving shaker, will put you on a poster with a crossover, all right? Now, LeBron James, he is becoming one with himself. And the reason I say that is after the Denver win, he said that he believes he's playing the best basketball of his career. Yes, he's shooting an all-time percentage in threes. The highlights are coming a dime a dozen. Now, LeBron James, this season means nothing if your team can't figure out a way to win games at a consistent pace. What are they, 4-6 since the All-Star break? It's not very good, not impressive. Yeah, I know they have the new additions, but that stuff has kind of cooled off. Now they need to find a way to play good basketball consistently to get in the playoffs. If they get in the playoffs, then I fully expect LeBron James to reach the NBA Finals because he's done it, 7 straight times? So, of course, number 8 will happen. Now, one thing I'd like everybody to think about, can LeBron James touch the coattails of Michael Jordan and Kobe? Maybe, maybe not. But he's getting close. This year has a smell of legendary to it. He won the All-Star Game MVP for this new format. His team was actually down and they came back. So maybe in the latter years of LeBron's career, he'll show us something that we've always expected to see from him late in the clutch. Can he do it? I think he can. Matter of fact, I know he can. He just got to do it. He rocks Nike, right? Just do it. Spurs and Thunder in danger of missing the playoffs. Spurs have been the last 20 years. The Thunder, they got Melo, PG, and Russ. And if they don't make it this year, they're going to break all that up. Trust me, like Legos. Now, the NCAA tournament is what I've been trying to talk to about with you guys. Get out your brackets. I've got my bracket here. I've got it here. My picks are based on pure analysis. Now, the first thing I have to say about the tournament is that there's a lot of teams in this tournament that could have their banner taken down, but who cares? The NCAA wants to have a tournament anyway, and that's due to the FBI investigation. The banner's coming down. Who knows what will come of this? About the schools that were implicated. Some of those schools are in the tournament. Some of those schools were out of the tournament. Schools that were out of the tournament: Oklahoma State, Louisville, 2 of the main schools implicated in the FBI scandal. Now, I think Louisville, I did say they wouldn't make the tournament because of the loss they had to Virginia. Oklahoma State should have definitely been in the tournament because of the way they beat Oklahoma. And then they beat Kansas twice, and they're not in the tournament. Now, the biggest question everyone's been asking is, how did Oklahoma get in the tournament? Well, Trae Young sells tickets, and he's been a hot name all year, so why would this tournament committee leave him out? Ben Simmons didn't get in last year, but we didn't have a running tagline at the bottom of the ESPN scroll bar for Trae Young every night Ben Simmons had games, like we did for Trae Young. Now, Oklahoma, they play Rhode Island the first round, and what a lot of people are saying is true. Trae Young, he's played in conference. Those coaches know him. Those players know him. They got a chance to see him multiple times against multiple matchups. Teams they play, it's a round-robin schedule in the Big 12. However, Rhode Island, they're a good team with E.C. Matthews. However, Rhode Island, they have not seen Trae Young. And Trae Young will get wet on Rhode Island, and they won't get bounced the first round. Trae Young will make sure that the Oklahoma Sooners go to the second round. I guarantee you that. They'll lose to Duke, but they'll make it to the second round. Now, for me, my national champion, I'll tell you them in a minute. So, I got some upsets for you, okay? My upset, the 10 seed over Nevada, Texas in the first round. I've also got Georgia State potentially beating Cincinnati. Although in my bracket I did pick Cincinnati. However, that's in one of my other brackets. I've got Georgia State maybe winning that game. I like that Simmons guy. And then also, I've got St. Bonaventure or UCLA beating Florida. I've got Colin Sexton and the boys over Virginia taking the first round. And I've also got Providence over Texas A&M just because I like the way that they play ball. Now, as far as my Final Four goes, I went with Tennessee playing North Carolina and Arkansas playing Duke. I really like Gafford. I like the pace that Mike Anderson plays there with the Hogs. I like Duke's length. I like them to beat Arkansas. I like Tennessee to beat North Carolina in a rematch from earlier this season in which Tennessee should have won at home. I like Tennessee playing Duke in the national championship. Tennessee's got the second best defense in the country. They've got inside-out play. They've got a Hall of Fame coach in Rick Barnes. I think the Tennessee Vols beat the Duke Blue Devils 75-72 in San Antonio. Go Vols. I think they win the national championship. And, you know, nobody's ever 100% right with these brackets. However, some of us get close. So, my Final Four predictions, Tennessee, UNC, Duke, Arkansas. I like Tennessee, Duke national championship. Tennessee wins it. Now, make sure you go find your own picks. Don't try to steal mine. And I definitely look forward to seeing what one shining moments we have that are yielded from this year's tournament. Thank you for watching the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zono.